it's crazy to me that it took so long for these to get released. But what's even crazier is that we all know, everybody already knows what's going on. Like, in the early 2000s, this was a whole conspiracy. But at this point, there's no question that our entire world is ran by a bunch of people who have dirt on them by another group of people. And the people who have dirt on them control how everything functions. So this is just a distraction at the end of the day. They want everybody to think about it, to feel some type of way, be in an uproar, whatever it is. Like, that's the whole point of why this type of stuff even exists and why they set it up like that. I mean, like, let's be real. Like, I'm not going to get in too far into a different topic, but we already know how deep this stuff goes outside of just politicians, and it goes into so many other areas. But even though it goes into other areas, like, why was this the pinnacleized part of it? And like, yeah, there's the Diddy stuff, but how many other people in the music industry are in the same part, but nobody talked about it? Or talked about it when it became convenient to where it just becomes entertainment. Like, that's the biggest problem with this kind of thing, is it just becomes entertainment. It's nothing else. And if it's just going to be entertainment, because you're not going to get these people out of their positions, you're not going to have CEOs step down, because like, they have things on such a tight hold that they have scrubbed it all. Everything you can think of, it has been scrubbed. And if something that was important to really sabotage someone who has enough influence or power, it's going to get pulled from your hard drive somewhere. Like, the whole point of this surveillance system we live in is tied right into keeping something like this in people's faces for so long, probably to not see something that's actually on the back end, or to give people rabbit holes to try to dive in and see who's going to take it serious. But it's just like, everything that revolves around this kind of stuff, you know, people got iced out for years ago. And there were some people who were really trying to expose it, and then like, they got cut. But now all of a sudden it's perfectly fine for all this stuff to be out there. And, you know, just, you got to read the room with this kind of stuff. And putting Trump in the mix of it, of being in and out of it, like, at this point, there's no telling how much of this is just pure propaganda. They can give you whatever narrative or story they want. They can make it look how they want. And that's the whole, like, thing about it, is that it's now become so normalized that people just side-eye the fact that the people involved in this entire thing, whether they're named in this or not. Because remember, when you hit a certain place, you don't have a choice. When you hit a certain status, you don't have a choice. They're going to attempt to indoctrinate you into their system regardless. And even if you don't fully sign into it, you still have to play by their rules and by their game. And if you go against it, they have never had a problem with making sure something looks like an accident. So it's just like putting two and two together at the end of the day. And especially from like the top part of media and everything that comes down from it, it's hard for me to think that they don't have, you know, years worth of media basically set up for when things are going to be put out and how it's going to go, at least from things that are like this. Like, who is working against who to then bring this into light, where this is actually okay for the government themselves to put it out there, when they're the ones that are hand in hand with the entire operation in and of itself? Like, what's the point in finally letting people know that, yeah, your country is ran by a bunch of PDF files, and what are you going to do? What are you going to do, bro? Like, this is how they are in there right now, just laughing, because they are fucked up people and they've done very fucked up things. But that doesn't mean anything. Unfortunately, it just means absolutely nothing, because unless somebody's going to go in there and actually start doing what needs to be done, you can't, because of power, money, and people's positions, and the network of this is so deep. What else? What are you going to do? Like, that's the biggest part. People don't understand that there is a reason why they let people know these things, that they now let people believe these things that did not believe about them before. I'm not saying nothing happened. What I'm saying is that how far has it been stretched for you to be informed about it? Because that's what we need to discuss. That's what needs to be really out and about when it comes to seeing this kind of stuff stay in people's faces for so long. What are they going to continue to stretch about it? Because at first it was this, and now it's this, and then this new information comes out. Like, bro, is this a movie story? And like, whenever we finally stop feeding it, like, I don't like speaking on this stuff in any way other than addressing it for what it is. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what's in those files. It doesn't matter who's named. Because we already do know plenty of proof about what all of these people have been involved in, and they're all in a network. They are all in a system together, in coherence with 3-letter agencies. At the end of the day, this is all just a show. And they play it so well because they feed into people's emotions and they stick it out of you, and they keep trying to throw another dart and put some more fear in you and put some more of this and that. And then they add on all the other layers of entertainment, propaganda, and everything else that lowers people's vibration, just so that you have no attempt at being able to see the bigger picture. If you could see the bigger picture, if anyone that was not seeing the bigger picture could start seeing the bigger picture, you get so much of your own personal time, effort, and energy back into your place. And like, that's the only way I can ever speak on what's going on in the news and what the propaganda is, because it's a distraction system that is systemized and built better than any other thing on the planet, with so much more put into it than most people can even recognize. Even talking about worldly events or not talking about worldly events, like, this isn't the news. It never has been. It's just prime Hollywood. And I mean, that should speak for itself.